Don't make the same mistakes as I did when I first started my first ever e-commerce business. Keep in mind these mistakes were from 5 years ago when I first started my business, but I still think that these mistakes do happen and a lot of people still make them. So the number one problem is when running Facebook ads. You might get too attached to a singular product. You might see a sale or two come in and you start getting attached to that specific product. So what you have to do is know when to kill the campaign. This is dependent on a lot of things like cost per purchase, what's your profit on the product, but if you're not reaching your profit that you want on that product within the first around €100, and you're still not reaching the profit margins that you want even if you're getting sales, then I believe you should turn that campaign off. Of course, this is only when you're starting with a smaller budget like €2,000. If you're starting with a bigger budget, I think you spend around 300 per campaign, per product, and if it's still not working out, definitely do turn off the campaign. There can be a couple of reasons why you're not actually making sales on the product. For example, your website being bad, or maybe it's the actual ad video itself that's doing bad. You should try do multiple ad sets within one campaign to make sure 100% that that product is not a winning product. Of course, you don't have the leisure of money to do this if you're starting out with a smaller budget, so after spending around €100 on your first campaign, you should definitely turn it off if you haven't gotten any sales or if you're not seeing the profit margins that you want. So, number 2 is actually the website. I know I said before that sometimes the website influences whether people will buy or not, but do not fiddle around with the website way too much. Do not spend over a week tweaking your website to make it look better just for one singular product. Make sure your products are good and then the website comes later. Because you'd be surprised how many people don't actually do care at all on how the website looks. Of course, there's a very specific group of people that will care, but the one you're chasing at the moment is the one that won't. The last reason I have is that people do too much research. Of course, don't go in blindly into the business that you're creating, but do only minimal research, just enough to get by. Whenever you need something, do a bit of research on that. Don't do extra research that you don't need, because you might have a clash of information from multiple YouTubers, multiple gurus, and then you might not get anything done at all. Because as always, it's a case-by-case kind of thing where people will learn one way and another person will learn another, but one side will not work the same. So it's better off to learn by yourself and do what works for you, because what works for another person might not work for you. And if you're researching about how to launch a Facebook campaign, I've made a video before on my TikTok that you can go watch. It's a super simple setup. There's no need for manual campaigns nowadays. It's very simple the way I do it, and it does work.